What is going on, everybody? We're back here, Liam here. We are joined by the Jetalorian, very special guest. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, man, Liam. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a little while for myself. My podcast is in a little bit of a transitioning period, so I haven't been posting really any content. So I apologize to the viewers for that. Don't worry, big things are in store. We have another Jets podcast coming, not with me, but Jetalorian. You are starting your own. You want to give us a little bit of information about that before we really dive into this?
Absolutely. I appreciate it again, Liam, for having me on. Thank you. It's just basic questions and what are we going to do during the draft? Basic stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. What should we do at safety? That's a big thing now that there's some rumors coming out of Seattle that Jamal Adams may want to do a rerun with us. What do we do with that? So just those simple questions that I want to ask Jet Nation and see where everybody stands with that, including our offensive line, wide receiver. We need another one.
Yep.
That sort of thing. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing in my podcast starting tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Okay. What's the name of the channel?
I'm actually working on that. It's going to be on the Jetalorian, but I got to go ahead and get that set up. So I will definitely do that. If I don't get started tomorrow, it's probably going to be Saturday because I still have a lot of little kinks to work out. So
Yep.
that's my plan. My plan is for tomorrow to maybe just go live and then set up the channel.
There you go. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more complicated than just hitting record and going. There's so much that goes into it. It's insane. If there's
Absolutely.
anything that myself in Italy Jet had learned in the past, there's a lot to it. But yeah, getting into the season, so I guess we could start off with the safety position. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on Jamal Adams potentially coming back? He was at one time considered a guy that was going to be the savior of the team. I remember when he got drafted, he said that he wants to be part of the solution, not the problem. And then
Right.
he kind of like the way he left is what really put a sour taste in my mouth and many Jet fans' mouth, where he kind of
Mhm.
slapped the organization, slapped the fans right across the face, really disrespectful. And then he goes on to Instagram saying, "I didn't want to play for my head coach." Personally, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to play for Adam Gase either.
Right.
So now he is kind of throwing out some hints, liking tweets, liking Instagram comments, posts about potentially coming back to the New York Jets. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, to be honest with you, he was a top safety in the league. Um, I don't think he's that anymore. I think he's a little older. He's also gotten a couple of injuries that have been nagging him. Um, and the fact that the way he left that sour taste in all of our mouths. I still remember. I even posted. I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram post where him smoking the cigar and saying that he wanted to go to Seattle and he's happy. Blah blah blah. That's not cool. And now all of a sudden now the Jets locker room is a young locker room, a lot of young players in there, and him coming into the fold, I don't think it's a good fit. My opinion, I just don't think it's a good fit. I think he's going to come in there. He may grab Sauce Gardner and maybe lead him in the wrong direction. I'm going to say just because to me, Jamal Adams ended up being a diva, and
Yes.
I didn't like the way he went about his business. I think we could do a younger safety, maybe even bringing back, Whitehead and have him there. I don't know about Jamal Adams. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think you really hit the nail right on the head there. And that is like my main concern is that he is a diva. He also hasn't had a sack since 2020.
Yeah.
And it's just like you said, he is getting up there in age and he's known as Blitz Boy. That's kind of what everybody calls him.
Hmm.
And Robert Saleh's system, Jeff Ulbricht's system, they don't really require a lot of blitzing. It's mainly just man and zone coverage. So like, I don't even think that he'd be a good system fit. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I think that we both speak for pretty much all of Jet Nation. I haven't seen any comments saying that they would welcome him back. And just like you said, he is getting up there in age. There is definitely better options available. Tony Adams is really starting to come into his own. We're getting Chuck Clark back. Who knows if he's going to be the same player coming off of a season-ending injury before he even
Mhm.
stepped foot on the field. So I just think that there is definitely better options out there. But
Yeah.
you had mentioned other like glaring holes on this team, and for a team that's supposed to be going all in, everyone's saying that we were just a quarterback away. There seems to be a lot of holes on this team, and it's starting with the offensive line. Every quarterback throws the same on their back, whether you're Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson, Simeon, Boyle, whoever the hell you are.
Hmm.
So we have a lot of decisions to make. There's a lot of rumors that David Bakhtiari might be coming here, who somehow managed to play less games than Mekhi Becton, who missed 2 entire seasons, which is just insane to me. There's a lot of rumors about Tyron Smith. Um, going, if you're Joe Douglas, who going after?
I would actually go after Bakhtiari. I think that there's I guess a known factor with him and Aaron Rodgers, and I think that that's probably something good where Bakhtiari can speak to the rest of the offensive linemen and basically explain to them what the blocking situation should be for Aaron Rodgers, and no chop block after the second play in the season, none of that.
Yeah,
Um, try to keep Aaron Rodgers upright because again, Aaron Rodgers is another guy that's also up there in age. So we need to help him stay upright. So I would say Bakhtiari would probably be a very good fit, and I would bring him in immediately. I think that's a no brainer.
right. Now, would you make him the starting left tackle, or are you looking to draft somebody else? I mean, I just get worried about his injury history. He's missed 45 games since 2020. He's had 5 operations on the same knee, so that knee might be shot. Like we don't know
Right,
what the
right.
future holds for him. He only played 1 game last season, so are you looking towards the draft? Are you looking at like another free agent? You making any other moves at left tackle?
Well, I would say that still the draft having the tenth overall pick would still require us to get an offensive lineman. I don't
Yeah.
think that there's no other way for us to think about that 10th pick. I think that 10th pick has to be an O lineman. So yeah, you bring back Thierry in, have him play left tackle. I mean, Mekhi Becton has become such a I don't even know what to say about the guy. I love him. He's
He's a
huge.
liability.
Huh?
He's becoming a liability.
Yeah, he's huge. He's a mammoth man, but can't seem to block anybody. So that's a problem. I think Bakhtiari, even with all those knee surgeries, is probably a better option than Mekhi Becton right now. And I think that drafting a guy 10th overall offensive lineman and plugging him in to start right away, that'll also help. We also have Vera Tucker coming back, which helps us out a lot as well.
Right.
So I just think that we have to do something to keep Aaron Rodgers upright. I think that's the weakest link in our entire team is that offensive line.
Right, yeah, that really is the anchor, really, of the offense because if you're getting sacked, you're not making any plays. If you can't block for Breece Hall, then he's not getting any running yards. So yeah, it really is the anchor. And I agree with you. Now, I guess the counterpart to that would be, does Aaron Rodgers really want a couple rookies playing, like protecting him? That is a little bit of a concern for me. But I've also seen reports about Elijah Vera Tucker moving to tackle and then us drafting a guard. Would you
Right.
be opposed to that at all?
No, absolutely not. I mean, Vera Tucker is such a gem to have where he can play basically all four positions. And if you put him at center, he may be able to play there as well. So,
Sure, he could.
I mean, yeah, I would say move him as well and bring in a guard. Um, and the flip of the coin on that about the young guys playing O line is that we had veteran guys which couldn't do anything either. So the options are get the young guys in there to get them ready to play and protect Aaron Rodgers, or put the same old guys in there that didn't do anything this year either. So we're at a catch 22 right now. We need to do something with that offensive line. Something has to give.
Right, and you gotta figure that almost anybody would be better than, Billy Turner, Dwayne Brown at this point. So, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement, and, like you said, at pick 10, they have to go offensive lineman. I've seen some reports about possibly, like, Brock Bauer. Really like the player, I just don't think that, if you're drafting in the top 10, you shouldn't be really drafting a tight end. That's just the way
Right.
I look at it. And, I mean, I did say the same thing about Sauce at 4. I said I really like the player, but I just don't think it was a position of need, and I still don't think it was a position of need. Now, hindsight's 2020. I would take Sauce over anybody any day. He
Right.
has definitely lived up to it, but I think you kind of see what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
So moving
Right.
on to other glaring holes, Woody Johnson has said that the New York Jets still don't have a backup quarterback, and he just pretty much killed Zach Wilson's trade value. So if you think about it, now I think that we could all agree that they need a veteran backup quarterbacks, and a plethora of names have been thrown out there. Is there any one particular guy that you want? Do you have you have your eye on somebody? What are you thinking at the backup quarterback position?
I actually like the latest rumor of Sam Howell. I think that that's a name that we should really think about, but that's going to require a trade because I think he still has 2 years left on his contract,
I believe
on his
so.
rookie deal. So, I mean, I like Sam Howell. I think he would be a good fit. I think he's better than Zach Wilson, to be honest with you. I think that him sitting behind Aaron Rodgers would be a plus for us down the line. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, of all of them, I would probably try to make a trade and try to get Howell because I'm pretty sure that the Washington Commanders are probably going to try to draft a QB in the draft.
Right.
So I think Sam Howell is going to be somebody that they're not really going to look at. I think Jacoby Brissett is another guy that's a free agent. That's a
Hmm.
possibility as well because Jacoby Brissett played in the AFC East. He knows what it takes to play in the AFC East. And he may be someone that we can look at and depend on as well. He's a reliable type guy too. So that's another possibility. Guess I lost you. Did I lose you? There you go.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, we got cut off ugly.
My light went out and everything. I have this little light right here I just bought, and it just took a crap on me, I think.
Wow.
That stinks. Anyway, yeah, sorry about that. I guess I'm gonna have to figure out a way to edit that out, or we can just leave it. It's
Yeah.
let me bring this up. Yeah, so we're on Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett. So those
Yeah.
are really the two names that you're looking at. You looking at anybody else? I saw Jimmy G was recently released. He was somebody that I really wanted last year actually because I didn't think that Aaron Rodgers was realistic at the time,
Hmm.
and he does have the connection with Robert Saleh. Not saying that he's definitely a perfect quarterback. I think he would probably be better off in the backup quarterback position where he doesn't have to start. You kind of save his health a little bit. So I think that would be a plus right there. I like Jacoby Brissett. I think that he is a perfect veteran backup, just somebody that's not going to cost you the game, somebody that's not going to lose you the game. I think
Correct.
that's really the important thing. Have your eyes on? I mean, the quarterback. What's his name? From the Giants. Tyrod Taylor. I was drawing a blank on his name there. I've seen his name thrown out a little bit. I've seen Sam Darnold possibly coming back. I don't know how Jet fans feel about that. Um, I really think, in my opinion, I think it just needs to be somebody that could just, like I said, not cost you the game, not lose you the game. Go out there, just get rid of the ball quickly, get the balls into your playmakers' hands, and just run the system. I think that's all you really need to ask for in a veteran backup. How we managed to uh, treat it the way it has been and just not get a veteran backup and then get the worst options possibly available, I don't know. It's just LOL Jets, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you feeling the same way?
Yeah. I mean, truth is we definitely need a veteran backup quarterback or
Mhm.
someone that we're going to go ahead and build like a Sam Howell, via trade because he's still a young guy, a young kid, and then have him, progress and try to get better. I don't mind Sam Darnold, simply because Sam Darnold was really dealt an ugly hand when he was here, when he was with us. You have Adam Gase, who was supposed to be this offensive guru, offensive genius, and just ruined this kid. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having Sam Darnold come back. I think he's a smart enough kid where he can learn, and I think Aaron Rodgers would probably teach him really well. And I think he'd probably be a good fit as well if it came down to it. Jimmy G, not so much. I don't know about Jimmy G. The reason being he's got those injuries, and he for some reason finds ways to cost games, and that's what we're saying that we don't want. So
Right.
I don't know
Yeah.
about Jimmy G.
Yeah, I mean, becoming a veteran backup quarterback, it definitely comes with its flaws.
Mhm.
Um, Typically a lot of, quarterbacks stay. I mean, we've seen Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay for the last 18 years. We saw Tom Brady in New England forever. Joe Flacco's bounced around a little bit. Are you interested at all in bringing him back?
I don't know why they let him go to begin with. I think we should have kept Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco would have probably, for that matter, we should have actually kept Mike White because
I think so. Yes.
yeah, Mike. The reason why the Jets let him go, I believe, my opinion, was that Zach Wilson was feeling some kind of way about the I guess the love that the team was showing Mike White, and I think that they wanted to get rid of that. But I think it
Yeah.
was a bad decision. At the end of the day, Mike White, there was a couple of games where he threw for over 300 yards. And why would you get rid of that to go to a guy like Zach Wilson who's throwing for 110 yards and 3 picks? I mean, I don't get that. So
Yeah, no,
what?
you're absolutely right. And it's at the point where, like, I agree. Like, they didn't want to hurt Zach Wilson's feelings. It was definitely Zach's team. And the reason that they got rid of Mike White is because he posed a threat to Zach Wilson. He knew that the fans were gonna rejolt against Zach Wilson and cheer him on. And I think that the Jets just definitely wanted to eliminate that. I agree with you 100%. I would have kept Mike White at all costs. Everybody besides Zach Wilson made the offense look a lot easier.
Yeah,
Even see, it's weird with Joe Flacco because I think he looked a lot better with the Browns than he ever did with the Jets. He just looked like he never wanted to be with the Jets. I don't think he ever cared to coach up Zach Wilson whatsoever. But some guys are just like that. But everybody else made our system look so much easier, which really makes you think, is it Zach Wilson or is the system complicated? So then we bring in a new offensive coordinator. Obviously, some people have their opinions on him. I'm not too high on him. I
hmm,
just hope that he knows how to stir some sugar into some coffee and hand it to Aaron Rodgers. Thank you very much. I think that's
agreed,
all we really need to ask of him.
agreed,
Um,
agreed.
so yeah, I think that we're both on the same page that we would bring Joe Flacco back. I can't believe I'm even saying that because when he was originally with us, I didn't like him. I really didn't. I couldn't wait to get this guy off the field. But that's definitely another huge position of need. Now, do you think that both Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, if God forbid somehow the Jets don't make the playoffs this year, they're out the door?
I wouldn't see. I'm trying to think. I think that before the Jets would let Joe Douglas go, I think they would probably let Robert Saleh go. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you look at Joe Douglas's draft or drafts, he's actually put a good team on the field. I believe that Robert Saleh, although he's a really nice guy, I think he lacks the coaching part of it. I think he's a great defensive coordinator, but I just don't think he can run an entire team because that was the same complaint that they had about Rex Ryan. That Rex Ryan was a great defensive mind, that he was good, but he wasn't good with the offensive side. And to be an NFL coach, in my opinion, you need to be able to manage both sides. You need to be able to see what the offense is doing and know that it's not working and make changes as you go along. You can't celebrate all the time. If you notice with Robert Saleh, he celebrated all the time the defense made plays.
Yep.
But when they didn't make the plays, because obviously if you're going 3 and out 6 times in a row, eventually the defense is going to break. So
Yep.
when you stand there and then you just have this smug look on your face, it doesn't look good on you. So in my opinion, I think that Woody Johnson would probably, before letting Douglas go, he'd probably let Salah go.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the same complaint was made about Todd Bowles as well.
Correct.
And that's the thing is, and then you watch all these playoff games, and like I'm just not so sure that Robert Saleh could go head to head with Andy Reid and Zach Taylor with the Bengals. I'm sure that they'll be back in it this year. All these like high profile coaches, Sirianni. Now,
Hmm.
like yes, they beat the Eagles. They hung in there with the Chiefs. but like the playoffs is is a completely different animal, and
Hmm.
that's like when the coaches really make their money.
Yep.
And I agree with you 100%. Like I'm just not so sure. Like we were sold by Joe Douglas that Robert Saleh is a CEO type head coach, and he really doesn't have much say in the offense. His offense has been ranked pretty much dead last ever since he's been here.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
so that definitely is a concern of mine too. Now, I'm just curious. I want to know if the New York Jets would really let Joe Douglas pick another head coach, because that is really what the general manager is based on, the head coach that
Mhm.
you hire and the quarterback that you draft. Now, you busted on the second overall pick. That was a flop. Robert Saleh is treading towards being a flop head coach. And I feel like everybody is obligated to say, myself included, yeah, he's a nice guy, but everybody says he's a nice guy, but I don't
Mhm.
care. I mean, like, I hate Bill Belichick as a Jets fan, but I don't care if you're the biggest jerk in the media. I don't care about that. If you could
Right.
put a winning product on the field, that's all I care about.
Yep.
Like I remember being a child, I was afraid of Bill Cowher because he was not a nice guy in the media, and like he always had this smug look on his face. And I just feel like there's too many like clowns running the circus. Where
Yeah.
like Robert Sala's not. I mean, I was at the Jacksonville game, the Thursday night game a couple years ago at MetLife, and Quincy Williams is coming out dressed as the Grinch, and that game had playoff implications. They make that game, they're probably in the playoffs if they win that game. And
Hmm.
he's coming out dressed as the Grinch. Even this year, you look at Alan Lazard, as bad as he's been, he's kicking soccer balls on the sideline. Like, where's this head coach saying, hey, listen, especially on the offensive side, we got to get our practices in. We got to be serious. This is a business trip week in and week out, whether you're home or you're on the road. Like, the shenanigans have to stop. And now we're seeing all these leaks coming out about who has loose lips.
Yeah.
Robert Sala's going through phones. Apparently, I mean, that can't be confirmed, but it just seems like the New York Jets are the gift that keeps on giving, and it's like we can't do anything right when it comes to the head coach. And then Hard Knocks, if you look back at that, that seems like Robert Saleh was acting, because the
Yep.
player that he was, or the coach he was in Hard Knocks, was not the same head coach that we saw throughout the season. Most
Yep.
specifically, that Browns game when he was just sitting on the sideline, just like that, and it's like, bro, what are you doing?
Right.
And then the offense will go 3 and out, and then you're giving them high five saying, "Good job, good job." Oh, everybody has the best effort. You lose a game, it's always, "Oh, like that team is just a really good team. You gotta tip your hat to them." No, why don't you beat one of these good teams? Prove that you can be that head coach, because they're definitely on the hot seat. Do you see a
Right.
situation if they don't make the playoffs that he does come back? I don't see that happening.
Right. Right. And that's the thing with him. And again, we go back to him being a nice guy. One of my favorite head coaches of all time is Bill Parcells.
Yep.
No nonsense. Do your damn job. I don't care. I don't want to hear excuses. Just do your job. I don't care about it. And you talked about Bill Belichick. Same, but that's that same lineage, that same tree. They
Yep.
don't care for excuses. They don't care about the shenanigans. You're there to do your job. Just do your job. Period. And I
Mhm.
prefer that than having a coach that wants to befriend the team and then have the team not respect him in the long run.
Right.
Everything has to have some kind of structure. At least that's how I grew up. And in the NFL, if you have guys in the NFL thinking that the head coach is their friend, and if I don't do my job, it's no big deal, it causes us games. And I think that Robert Saleh is a product of I'm going to be friendly with the players so I could get the best out of them. But you're actually getting the worst out of them because they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. So backtracking a little bit, getting onto the other positions of need. I think
Hmm.
another position of need, just to keep this going, I think is wide receiver. Do
Yeah,
you agree?
absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
so obviously we have Garrett Wilson, who is your number one wide receiver, and then there is a significant drop off because there's Alan Lazard, who for most weeks was actually a healthy scratch. You have
Hmm.
Jason Brownlee, who undrafted free agent, like nice story and everything, but I don't know if he has what it takes to be starting, especially right now in his career.
Hmm.
Gibson, same thing. You have Randall Cobb, who's 105.
Hmm.
His best days are definitely behind him.
Hmm.
So, are you looking in the draft? Are you looking at free agency? I'm seeing Mike Evans is going around, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley. Is there one specific guy that you like out of all these guys? Do you have somebody else in mind? What is the
Um,
Jetalorian thinking?
I actually like all of them. I think all of them would be a significant upgrade to what we have right now. I think with like even Calvin Ridley, I think that's going to be a 1A 1B situation where because he's as good to be a number one as well. You know, Mike
Yeah.
Evans. The only thing with Mike Evans, he's a little bit older. So do you want to go the older route or do you want to go with somebody a little bit younger? Um, he's also commanding a lot of money. That's a lot of money when it comes down to it to that wide receiver. And we can go to the main guy in Oakland, who they've been mentioning as well as a possibility to come back and be reunited with Aaron Rodgers. But that's another one that's very expensive. In my opinion, if you can get Brandon Ayuk from the Niners, if you can try
Yes.
to get that guy, I think that's a possible 1A, 1B type guy that's still young, still in his prime, and you can manage that. You know, he's coming still off of his rookie year, his rookie contract. So I think that Brandon Ayuk would be a good fit for us. But I mean, T. Higgins is also a guy that's really good. So there's a lot of possibilities without having to overreach and pay guys so much money that it's going to give you salary cap situations later.
Right. See, I'm at the point where it's like, yes, like you got to be mindful of the salary cap. But I'm also like the way I'm looking at it is you don't know how long Aaron Rodgers is going to be here.
Right.
And if this fails, then they're probably all gone anyway. So I'm
Right.
throwing everything at the wall and seeing what
I hear
sticks.
you.
Like that's personally what I'm doing. Um, I feel like I give the New York Jets enough of my money. I want them to go out and spend it. I want them to go get the big time players. So yeah, you could either go like the Mike Evans, Devontae Adams route, which I think is going to be a really big upgrade for the Jets. But then
Right.
you have like kind of like your B guys. You have like your Tyler Boyds and those kind of guys. So I really wonder like what route the New York Jets are going to go here. But I think that you got to surround this offense. You got to surround Aaron Rodgers with as many weapons as humanly possible. Is there any other changes to the offense that you would make? Any other playmakers you'd grab? Somebody you have your eye on?
Well, I mean, I think that regardless of the situation with Brees Hall, I think he still needs someone else to spell him as well.
Yeah,
I don't want him run him. I don't want to run him to the ground before he even gets started. So
right.
he has that knee injury that he actually played well this year. Thank God he did well. But I think that we need to have someone else be able to carry some, give him some rest, give him, because we were using him the entire game. So I think that we need to get somebody, unlike Dalvin Cook, who became Mr. Fumble. I mean, that guy was a waste of $5 million.
Yes.
Um, but I think we need to get somebody to help him out. I think at tight end we're good. I think Jeremy Ruckert is the guy we drafted. I don't think we should be looking in the draft to get another tight end. Jeremy Ruckert is a guy that's gonna be good later on. We got to give him time. And drafting another tight end right now would not be something that I think is really needed.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like I said, like I really do like Brock Bauer. I've been looking into him a little bit, but I think that there is a lot of untapped potential with Jeremy Ruckert, like you had said. And then you have Zach Coons. I don't know if he's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
factor at all. Um, Tyler Conklin, he seems to be getting better each and every year that he's here with the New York Jets. I think
I
that's
love him.
definitely, yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
CJ Uzuma, I think he's out the door to be honest with you,
I
unless
think
they
he's
use
done.
him in like a fullback role. But yeah, also with the running back situation, right now, I mean, going into the season, we had Brees Hall, Dalvin Cook, we drafted Izzy. For a period of time, we had Bam Knight, we had Michael Carter, so we had five right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're only down to Brees Hall and Izzy Abadaconda, who I think probably at best, the way it's looking right now, is going to be a running back three. So I definitely think that they should upgrade the running back position as well. Um, it seems more likely than not that they're probably going to be looking into the draft. If you recall, every year since Joe Douglas has been here, he has drafted a running back. So I'm sure it's going to happen again. Would you be interested in signing a free agent, somebody like we had a Dalvin Cook last year, or somebody like that, or do you think that's just going to strictly be somebody in the draft?
I think it's possibly going to be a veteran running back. I think that they're probably going to go ahead and bring somebody in. Um, not like Dalvin Cook, but somebody that can actually help Brees Hall out. Not
Right.
too old, but a veteran in the league. I think that's probably going to benefit him, and I think that they'll probably use the resource of drafting maybe another defensive tackle to help the defensive line as well. Although our defense is set, but I think they're probably going to sign a veteran running back to help out Brees Hall.
Yeah, I think so. I think they have to at that, because like I said, they're only down to two. And knock on wood, Brees Hall, like you said, he already has the one injury. Another injury hopefully doesn't happen, but like it's the world we live in today. So I definitely
Yeah.
think that you need a little bit more depth there, and it's just going to benefit everybody, to be honest with you. But we're approaching the 30-minute mark here, so we're going to get ready to wrap it up. So I'm really excited for you. You're starting out your own podcast. Do you want to give that information out one more time? We started at the beginning of the show. Where can everybody find you? Where can they keep in touch and watch all your content?
Okay, so basically, I'm the Jetalorian on Instagram, on Facebook, and TikTok. Um, come on and check me out. I do a lot of little things when it comes to other Mandalorians. I have a podcast on TikTok with the Cowboy Lorian. So I do Tuesday nights there. Starting mine on Friday. Um, Possibly going to be a live to start off while I get everything else running. But I welcome all Jet fans to come on. I would hope you would come on as well.
Of course.
And we can shoot the crap there, and have a good time there as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and I welcome everybody to come along.
Yeah, definitely check him out. I follow you. You're a great follow. You're always posting different content. Definitely a great Jets fan. You look like you've been a lifelong Jets fan, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah, I love all your posts, man. Like a lot of great stuff coming there. So I just wanted to thank you for joining us. I can't wait. We're gonna do this again. I'll definitely have you back on throughout
Yes.
the season, throughout the off season. And yeah, man, big changes coming to my podcast as well. So everybody definitely be on the lookout for that. I mentioned it in the last show we did right after the season, after the New York Jets went undefeated so far in 2024 with their win against the New England Patriots. So definitely planning to be back soon. Thank you guys for watching as always. We'll talk Jets soon.
Have a good one.